Well, guys, let's get started. We've got Marcus. We've got Ira. Wait, Marcus Willard, a.k.a. Streettext Conversion. What did that say at the end?
Coach.
Coach. Got it. I love that. You should be like Streettext Conversion superhero.
Yeah, let's
do
All
it.
right,
Marcus. We got Marcus. We've got Ira. They both work with Streettext. You can take a look at streettext.com. I think Tessa, our communications director, will put up a link both on Facebook and here. And then we've got Alex Rivlin and Janki Patel, both moderator admins in the LabCoatAgents community along with myself. So everybody, thanks for being on. Appreciate you on this side. And then for those of you joining on the webinar side of this and on the Facebook side of this, let us know what city, what state, what country you're from. I always like to see where everybody's at just so I can kind of imagine where I would be at if I wasn't sitting at home locked up in a room. So be kind of nice. But look, Marcus has got this awesome setup in, what is this, bro?
This is a utility trailer. So, you know, the background is my wife. She's in television. She's a journalist, and she had her own TV show. And then when kids came along, was figuring out how to also do that, you know, with 3 boys. So she created this little station, and then we moved from Kelowna to Parksville on an island, and now it's become my workstation. Wow. Temporarily. Until I convert the boat, that's like the Noah's Ark outside. It's like a 36-foot salmon trolley. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Tristan. But it's a 1950s salmon trawler or trolley. My wife always corrects me on this. And yeah, it's going to be refurbished into an office / Airbnb maybe. It's pretty dope.
Nice. Well, dude, if you do webinars from that, it's going to be like this. I'm like, Marcus, you're making me seasick, bro.
We always see this in Streettext, you know, all the masterminds that Marcus does. We always see this background. I always wanted to ask you, where are you, you know?
It's the #1 question we get at the end of all of our webinars. People are like, can I just ask one more question? Yeah, Marcus, where are you?
Yeah.
In an Airstream with egg crate sound deadening materials.
Integrity.
All right, let's get to it, guys. The secret Facebook formula for success, even though it's not secret. Ira, Marcus, which one of you want to take this on?
Ira, I'm going to let you start, man.
Ira, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I think one of the big things that we have to ask ourselves is, are we providing an online presence, or are we bringing an online community? And the difference between the two is we're so used to advertising being about presence, meaning I'm just in everyone's face. They're just recognizing me. It's the old like billboards and stop bus signs. The difference between Facebook and regular advertising is Facebook is all about building community and relationship. What's the difference between community and relationship and presence? Well, it's dialogue. How do you get to know somebody? It's the same way we're getting to know each other right now. You're talking about Marcus's ship in his front yard, talking about what makes Marcus Marcus. Like he's got his trailer there. That's part of like his brand, but the only reason that we know about it is because we created conversation around it. So if you're gonna win on Facebook, it's about using advertising as well as like communications that are going out that create dialogue. Because dialogue is what builds relationship. You don't get to know somebody by going to a coffee shop, sitting down with them, and then telling them all about yourself. Like, hey, this is me. This is what I do. Do you like me? Do you like my shirt? Do you like what I'm wearing? Do you like all of this stuff about me? All of a sudden the person's like, hi, like I'm a person. I'm sitting here on the other end of this. If you want to get to know me, let's start a dialogue. So when it comes to real estate, what do you want to start dialogue around? Well, you want to start it around home values and all those different types of things. But it's really just about asking questions, getting responses, and continuing to create dialogue online. That's how you win.
And I think it's very, sorry to interrupt you, Ara, but I think it's very important to also know we're in a relationship business, right? So when you are working with Streettext or any other sources, you just don't expect it to work right away. It takes time. Build that relationship. That's what it's about.
Oh, yeah.
That's our business.
It's also recognizing the type of leads you're generating. I mean, if you're working with leads that are like, I need to sell today, I need to buy today, That's the bottom of the funnel. When you're talking about the top of the funnel and someone casually scrolling down their news feed today and you've interrupted them with an ad that's all about value, it's not like they're going to say, come list my home. You know, where's that relationship formed, and how are you making that person feel so that they can trust you? Right.
Exactly.
And truly discover their time frame. And even if there is no true time frame in there, are you in it for the entirety of that relationship? Are you in it if that means they're not going to sell with you for 5 years down the road? Do you want to be somebody that
and Marcus, to your point, are you in it if they're not going to sell for 5 years down the road? If you're not dealing with the seller lead, you're dealing with a buyer lead, and for some reason that buyer can't buy. I've also seen it where you get referrals from them because you treated them like a human being as they deserve to be treated, right? So you may never get a piece of business directly from them, but through their referrals, you still do. So it really is all about the relationship and being present for that relationship.
And I think that's exactly what I keep preaching on Facebook, or whether I do a Facebook Live. It's like, what are your relationships like in real estate? It's not about a lead. You know, we tend to call it a lead. But what kind of connection did you build? What kind of relationship are you building with that particular person? At the end of the day, they're human, right? I mean, that's how we need to treat them like, right? Every time, especially when it's a cold lead, a cold lead that comes in, how long are you going to nurture them is a question that I get. And it's not about how long, it's what kind of relationship are you building with that nurture? It could be a year, it could be 6 months, it could be 3 years from today, right?
I think that's why, I mean, we got to look at Facebook itself. Like, there's the sponsored element where you're running ads to go meet new people, but a lot of people stop there and then they throw it into some sort of automation and it continues to drip on them. And yet it's not very personal. And you're asking yourself why you're not converting leads. It's because you're still automated. There's no personification of that. Like, what makes, if you, you know, any one of you came in and into my funnel and we're looking for a home value, I'd want you to feel like I was speaking to you personally. And continuing to check in and acknowledge your own home, your own name, everything for that matter. So it feels like, hey, you're in it for me, not some sort of automated feature to take over.
And the huge thing about that is we were talking about it this morning on our mastermind. Sometimes we feel like we have to appear so polished. On social media, polished stuff actually deters people. Yes. If you send me an email that looks like a commercial, you automatically have me turning off the commercial part of my brain. I'm like, okay, commercial. But if you send me an email that's like my name in the video and a picture of my house, and you address me personally, and it's shot as you're walking out of your office, or it's shot in your car or somewhere around your town, all of a sudden you're a person. You're not an advertisement. And we build relationships with people. So people are looking to connect with other people, start conversation, dialogue with other people. So we get stuck in trying to make it look too polished.
And another thing is and another thing is something that I really take this personally is that when you're calling, and this is what I tell my team members as well, is that when you're calling a lead, don't say, hey, are you looking to buy or sell? You know, that's not a conversation you want to have. You just want to say, hey, how are you? Start with humanize the conversation is what I say, what I call it, right?
Love it. Hey, you know, you're probably just casually scrolling down Facebook. You saw my ad thinking you're getting an automated CMA. I get it. Everybody says that in the beginning. Like, you got to get to disarm them, because they're going to think that you're just trying to sell them and solicit their business. So the best thing you can do is acknowledge that they were probably just casually down their Facebook news feed and just curious, like most people are.
Exactly.
But you said it's no obligation. It's complimentary. It's my way of giving back to the community. And here's what I'd like to do for you. Right.
Absolutely.
And so it humanizes the process, let them know that it's not about you, it's about them, and being someone that they can think about for years to come as a real estate.
And if not you, who do you know that's looking, right? Or who can I help today? When you come from contribution to helping them, that's what makes it more conversational. You know, instead of just like, okay, I'm a lead here. Do you want to buy or sell? Or I see that you're looking at my ad. What can I help you with? No, that's not the kind of dialogue you want to have at that time.
Well, and 100%. And I think ultimately is, where are we spending the most time? If we're talking about the lead generation source of Facebook, it's Facebook, or social media for that matter. I mean, Tristan, I know you're on Facebook 24/7. So imagine, like, for these homeowners, you're just scrolling down their feed, you're trying to create an intentional relationship with that person. It would makes so much sense to go from that sponsored element of you paying Facebook for that new relationship to bring them back into your personal sphere, which is where you're most relatable, right? And so I tell people all the time is imagine as your greatest CRM is Facebook, you know? And I challenge people all the time to look at the entirety of their friends list. You know, when you're speaking to people who are 5,000, I had George the other day who's been pruning down his friends list because he's like, listen, I want to be able to track the direct influence I have. And you got to acknowledge the biggest resource you have is your personal sphere to start with and your own farm. And have you connected? Tristan, I saw your post the other day of like, have you been connecting with all your peeps, right, from the past, like your past clients? There's Facebook.
Yeah.
Have you been leveraging lists?
Right.
Have you been acknowledging that Messenger is the biggest resource for you because you can literally just like text, see the last communication you had, and you have video there, you have voicemail there. You know, we have our fun little faces that we make, right, Tristan? Back and forth.
Dude,
Yes, like everything gets locked in that area, and then you can create lists and segment those people into lists, and now you know where all your little pipelines are. But that's the greatest place you can have influence in, because that's where people are spending more than an hour a day just scrolling. They're not sitting in their inbox. And some of these leads that you get with Facebook aren't full phone number submissions, let alone are they full, you know, are they legitimate phone numbers in the first place?
Right.
So it's like, you got to understand the vehicle that you're leveraging and then making sure it's connecting with people. And I think from the get-go, if you're going to use video, make sure you're excited, make sure you have body language and tonality there. Like, it's got to be that know and like begins the moment they open up that video. And there's that 3-second GIF that most people are unaware of with BombBomb. Even using video in itself, you're separating yourself in the industry. Only, you know, a certain percentage of people do. So doing that is the first step, and then just getting comfortable with it. And that's what we love, because if you do that and you're intentional with it and you're authentic with it and you're genuinely looking to come from contribution and value, you're going to attract the right people.
Yep.
Well, and Marcus, you mentioned earlier that it's common sense to do video.
Yeah.
The issue is it hasn't converted to common practice.
Yeah.
And if people put it into common practice, they would see their businesses explode.
They're
Right.
so worried about what they look like and sound like, and they're just, they don't realize it's like, if you were to go door knock on someone's door, which is even more uncomfortable for people, like this is even better. You're digitally door knocking your way into the future. The door's been opened. Now just talk, like as if you were talking at the home. Like, and you knew, in this case, you knew that door has been opened because they actually said, I am interested in the value of my home. So what makes you different than anybody else that can give me a value? What makes you different than Zillow or Trulia or Realtor or any of these internet's best guesses?
Well, that also goes to videos, right? The perfect example, I hated to be on camera. I still do, but here I am. And I hated doing Facebook Live because it's like, okay, I got to make sure I look, you know, good, that people will actually listen to me. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's the message you're trying to relay, right? It's the conversation, or it's what is it that you're trying to say about what is the message that you're trying to convey, right? At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And is that going to resonate with that person? How is it going to resonate with that person?
100%.
And I think a big thing that we're hesitant on is that we feel like we have to resonate with everybody.
Exactly.
So we stop because we get a bad reaction, or we get somebody who doesn't resonate with us, and then we end the story there, and then our consistency tanks. And when our consistency tanks, we don't see the positive feedback. So we have to ask ourselves, like, are you willing to stay consistent when you're not getting the feedback right off the bat, that is not working? And
Right.
think about it from I always like to like go back into my brain, and like, we meet a lot of people on Facebook here at Streettext. We become friends with people on Facebook, and there are lives that people have done, and I'm like, I like this person. Like, this person's awesome. Like, this is an amazing, like, I'm excited about talking with them and getting to know them, just because, and I haven't met them yet. I met them on Facebook. So if that's how I'm thinking and feeling, that's how these people that you're adding to your friends list are thinking and feeling. And what do you like? You like when people interact with you and comment with you. So sometimes I caught myself several years back, because I would create a lot of content, and I would love when people would like give me feedback on the content, but I wasn't actually giving anybody feedback on anything. Like, I was just consuming it. So I thought, I need to be purposeful in relationship here. I need to think about other people. Like, this is how I feel when people chat with me. So now I purposely go in and I spend a portion of my day chatting with people. And if I met them because of their home and their home value, but now I'm talking to them about their dog and their commonality, and hey, like us talking before we got on this, I'm doing intermittent fasting now too. How are you finding it? We now have commonality. We now have conversation. We now have relationship and sticky factor. You're somebody that's of value and is talking to me. So I think it's huge thinking about how you consume Facebook, and then flipping that, being someone that actually gives back on that platform, not just take from it.
Right. And another thing, when you're talking about Streettext or you're talking about any other lead sources, right? You got to keep in mind it takes time. One thing is about consistency. What are you doing? Are you in their face 24/7, or are you consistently doing your follow-ups? Now, there's a difference between that too, right? Are you consistently doing, your follow-up, or are you in their face all the time? Which one are you, right? Of course, when you're in someone's face all the time, you just want to say, all right, I'm done. I'm going to, delete and spam this person or whatever. I'm going to not engage with them as much, right? So it takes time. It takes consistency and persistence, but how you're doing it matters. What you're doing to follow up, like bomb, like dropping by, just a simple CMA for them, or just saying, hey, hello, I'm here, just wanted to drop this off. How are you doing? How's your family doing? We have to come up with a different angle. Businesses change.
That was another thing I kind of noted too, in terms of thinking about what are the secrets. I'm like, how do you take an intangible click on Facebook and stand out from everyone else? Well, how about you make it a tangible experience? So some of our realtors have decided, people are locked up right now. People are craving people and conversation. Like Logan, one of our guys here, said, I talked to the Amazon guy for an uncomfortably long amount of time the other day because I was excited to talk to somebody. So like, we've had somebody showing up at people's houses with a gift with candy in it and standing back from their door and putting it down, just saying, hey, I wanted to drop by. So, I mean, you want to talk about sticky factor. That was a Facebook click. And now you have a tangible, like either mailer or something in their hands, and think about how you can make it stand apart even more. So we talk about your local businesses need promotion right now. So how would you partner with a local business and provide them with a gift card for a coffee shop that you love, and stand apart from somebody who, is just using the clicks online, and now you have something tangible in your hand.
And talking about that, I did that with our local diner here. And I was so amazed to see how many local vendors then said, hey, we want to be advertised in your Facebook, and we want to be a part of, part of what you're doing, because it seems like you are getting a lot of community people around, you're getting the community to see what this diner is all about. And we did that, and it was a lot of success. A lot of people don't have radio. We have our own radio show, and we do that. We showcase our small businesses on our radio show as well. So it does work. You have to have a system for it.
Well, and to what you're saying, Janki, there's a couple things that you've got going on there, right? If you are highlighting something in the community, again, you're paying it forward. Right. They know that you have a database. And the thing is, our database has value, not just to us, but to other people. So if we do that, then you're turning on also the law of reciprocity. You're dealing with business owners. They may know another real estate agent. Maybe they're not going to use you because their brother or sister-in-law or somebody is a real estate agent, but maybe they're going to at least talk about you to somebody else.
And that's okay. That's okay. You're not going to win everything. Like my coach always says, you win some, you lose some. So what? Keep going, It's all right.
Very true. Marcus or Ira, I have a question for you, because Amy Murphy has a question. Says, I'm not really sure what Streettext is. How does it differ from other texting services? Can either of you talk about what Streettext is just before we continue along the Facebook secret path?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind sharing. We're a full Facebook lead generation solution that helps you get together and run ads that are super easy and templated. So from the top to the bottom, we make running Facebook ads easy, because the Facebook ads manager is what we call the labyrinth of confusion. Ira always talks about this. It's so confusing to figure out how to set up ads, what to look for, what to analyze, what your performance should look like. Here's something we make it super easy to look at. I mean, you can look right now at this ad that Wendy's running in Las Vegas. She spent $750 on it, has 236 leads generated at $3.18 a lead. 84 of those provided at least an email. And then what happens behind that is you got to understand how, when you click on an ad, this is the first part, but what's the end game? Obviously, the click to contact solution is a really important one. So there's congruency between the image into the landing page, how you analyze that information, how you give them that information. So if I'm a homeowner and I'm providing my information on Facebook with my little smartphone, right? You got to remember, you've thrown an ad in their feed. You interrupted that news feed for something like a value. Hey, they want to know what my home is worth, or if someone were to buy your home, would you sell it, or enter your address, receive your home value. So in that moment, that's what they think they're getting. Okay. And when you submit your address, and then in this case, we do this dynamically and submit your email as the next step. It's not like the Facebook lead capture where you're capturing all their information up front. That's good in some scenarios, but very bad in others, because you're missing out on so many opportunities that you're missing that because you're trying to capture all the information at once. So doing this dynamically is going to give you the best opportunity, because even if I stop at this moment and I don't provide you any information about the condition of the home, what else, like age updates or amenity information, recent renovations, perhaps their sell date and so forth, I still have an automatic email being sent out. Okay. And then this is where it gets fun, because obviously if you get the phone number, it's even more fun. You have automation sending out as well as a text message and an assistant. All of this is customizable, and it has to be customized. You have to make it feel that way, or it's that person's going to, we're not stupid people. We're going to acknowledge if we're feeling like it's an AI, if we're feeling like it's just some bot, right? You got to personify it. So at the end of the day, what we really teach is that when you as a homeowner go into your inbox for the first time and you're looking to see what was just sent, okay, there's a big deal. And I'll just give you an example. Like Wendy, that's what you're going to feel. You're going to see it's Wendy looking to help you. It's 20-second video. She hasn't even done anything. No one's, it's just the first 3 seconds. She's smiling, she's waving. It's really all about connection. It's really about, hey, meet me on Facebook. And I think that's, I'll play the example because it's kind of fun to see, but that's what's going to connect.
Hi, I'm Wendy with LV Sweet Homes Realty. I got your request for the home price valuation and I am on it. I also attached a link below.
And, then you have technology breaks down.
To my Facebook profile, and we'll be sending you a quick friend request very soon. I just want to make sure that you have a chance to meet me. Well, I hope to talk to you soon. Have a great day.
So what we're trying to share with people, Streettext is essentially, on the surface, Facebook lead generation, but we're an entire solution that brings together all the best resources, tools, integrations, and coaches to help you put together something that when you go out and introduce yourself, like with an ad, there's no way that can be misinterpreted other than you trying to be helpful. And then we teach people how to create and win friends and influence people by asking the right questions and being all about them and not yourself and what I can do for you.
You know what I love, Marcus, about Streettext is the automation in the back end, all the ads that you have. You can turn on and off once you see the performance. I remember Stephen helping me with that, saying, no, this ad is not performing as well. So when you attend these masterminds, or even, when you have these solo conversations with the staff there, it's the coaches there. It's interesting to see how they look at the evaluation of each ad and tell us, no, let's turn this off. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's just, you get to see it. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful because you don't have to go in there and put your marketing hat on. We've already done it for you. Like, for example, this ad we'd run in trial, 18,000 active people who have tested this last month alone, a click to contact ratio of over 60%. There's no one that touches that in the industry. I haven't seen anybody. I mean, with 18,000 people testing that, even when it's being tested wrong, it's still producing those type of numbers. So where your cost per lead should be based on the benchmarks. And then you kind of obviously adjust for where you are. If you're in $1 million market in Malibu or San Diego, like you're not going to be most likely producing $6 leads, even though I've seen it when you start leveraging some of our other funnels, like the What's Your Home Really Worth, and put in an image of Malibu or something that's more localized. Landmarks work really well. I've seen people, you know, in Vegas use the Strip and do like, or in Hollywood use the Hollywood sign and then just crush it. So it's all about testing. And we've mastered the split test, which means 3 ads, 24 hours, let the best ad win. Same thing for everything. The only thing that changes is the audience that you're getting in front of. Because in the United States, most people don't know this, but 15 miles is a minimum standard because of the Housing Discriminatory Act. So there's ways to hack that too. You're out in the ocean, you could push that 15 miles out. You're near the mountains and so forth. But you're working with a community that's passionate about giving you the you know, how to make yourself an expert, because you're not going to figure it all out. This is what the trial is for that we have, is to welcome you into the community, to say, hey, here's a trial. If you don't sign up, no big deal. You got access to our academy, our Streettext Insider Group, all our coaching, all our resources for life. Just like you guys with the LabCoatAgents. It's like you have the opportunity to come on board with Streettext whenever you want. But in the meantime, we just want to serve you and give you the best value possible.
That is so true, Marcus, because I remember, I'm a witness to that. I remember when I first joined, like I said, and that's exactly what we did. We did the trial, and then I just went full in, because I felt that there's so much value there, especially with the coaches, especially with the guidance. And now you guys have masterminds as well. So
not only that, we have conversion workshops, we have ad tweets class, we have custom ads class, we have, you know, everything you can imagine from top to bottom. You know, integrations class, because some people are going to use HomeBot, BombBomb, you know, you name it. There's so many ways to create value and integrate with the systems you already have, whether it's, you know, FirePoint, Follow Up Boss, you name it, right? Everybody's got their ways of doing things. So we just want to make it sure it's working, catered to you and what you already have, and figure out how to put it together with the solutions you have.
So
and
Marcus,
go ahead.
So Marcus, looping this back into kind of the title of this particular webinar, Facebook and video, in the results that you've seen through Streettext, this ties back into that, right? Those that are actually converting well are not just letting the standard automation that you even have in the back end, as awesome as it is. And even though that contact conversion ratio is higher than you see industry-wide, it's also because of the coaching you're doing and what you're prescribing as a theory of what to do, like Wendy is doing and so many other people are doing, right? Whether it's tying in BombBomb, whether it's, you know, whether you're using Dub, whether you're using just some sort of video email or video text platform, video and reaching out to that client and humanizing the connection is key.
Humanizing it top to bottom, because if you want to build a model that's about trust and show that you're being authentic and serving that person, you're not going to just let the automatic email go out, right? If I show you the way Wendy does stuff, she has about 6 videos that shoot out automatically, but the personification happens when you personally address that person. So, you know, if someone's asking for a home value, you better get them that home value, but you better do it in a way that's customizable and speaking to them. So, you know, just a small, quick example that I love of Wendy, you know, this is a BombBomb template she uses. It's her brand, her coloring, LV Sweet Homes Realty. You know, I love all of it. It's super easy. Hey, Julie, received your home valuation requests, and this is what I found. There's a quick call to action. That all this is trackable, by the way. If you're going to send out stuff, make sure you can track opens. Make sure you can track that it's being played. Make sure you can track the links that you're putting in there, because, or else, like, you're just sending stuff and you don't know what's happening. So here's a quick example of her addressing the home value in less than a minute, which is all very doable using screen recording. Again, easy to do. We can show you how to do it, but this is kind of what Wendy has done and mastered. And I love too that she's got your fun little brand here, you know, all these little social media icons down here. It's a really nice template that is easy to set up in the quick start template of BombBomb. But I'll show you what she's done here.
Hi, Julie. I'm Wendy with LV Sweet Homes Realty, and I received your request online through my Facebook link to find the value of your beautiful home at 316 King Street in Henderson. I pulled it up on Redfin, and oh my gosh, I love that pool. And they are saying it's worth about $682,796. Zillow is saying it's worth 706, 747, and Realtor.com thinks it's worth 722, 200. So as you can tell, online values are kind of all over the place. So I like to dive right into the MLS and look at similar square footage, also with a pool, 1-story, 4-car garage in your area, and they're ranging between 500 and 722. So in order to get a true value of your home, I would actually need to see your home, see what kind of updates you did to it or what you haven't did to it, and then go from there. So below this video is a link to my calendar. You can click on it, pick the best day and time for me to come by, check out your place, and then answer any questions you have. So thanks so much again for reaching out, and we'll talk soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
And cool, I mean, she's acknowledging that, but she also has the call to action that Bomb allows. So it says chat with me on Messenger. So if I click on that, it takes me to her Facebook message, and I can have a conversation with her on Facebook Messenger. So, you know, all this to say, it's like, you know, you leverage technology to connect. And then I think the end game is Facebook Messenger, because if we can become friends on Facebook, now, you know, I'm in your newsfeed every single day.
And it comes back to why this works. Like we said at the beginning, relationship is about conversation. The reason the ads work is because it's creating dialogue and conversation. So the hard part is that, you know, we can dial down and get you, and I say this all the time to people we're working with here, I'm like, you can get stuck on the wrong part of the equation, which is ad performance. You could start like trying to nail down your ad performance, and you forget that it's not about the leads unless you're having conversations with them. That's how you change your business. So sometimes you can get stuck on trying to get the best ever Facebook ad, but the leads that you have coming in, you're leaving the conversation hanging. So a lot of people just need to learn how to be better conversationalists. That's why I love our masterminds and our Streettext and everything that we do, because even this morning I saw Jennifer, who's like nailing it. She's doing amazing. But from last week's mastermind, she saw somebody use the word. What was the word she used this morning, Marcus? She said it was about positioning your property. So instead of saying, I would give you, and just that simple word. So she went in and changed her video to change the communication style because it landed better. And you could hear it in the video. Like when you tell somebody, we could work to position your property right now in the current market. So sometimes where we're getting stuck is in the conversation end of things. So Streettext, like we just always wanted to see people be crazy successful. And we've recognized that, you know, we just don't want to provide the lead for the person coming in. We want to provide a community that have an abundant mindset where we can start to learn how to be better conversationalists, how to build relationships. And that's how we operate here. Like, I want to know you on Facebook. I want to know how many kids you have. I want to know, it's what drives me to work with people every day, because like, I'm like celebrating Brad Baker because I know that he had like a new kid and he's killing it in real estate ever since he did Streettext. That's what drives me to come in. So what's driving you? Like, create conversation with people and get excited about building relationship, and don't let all the other stuff that kind of falls flat and deflate you, because there's a bunch of people out there that haven't met you yet. And now you have a chance to actually meet people in your community. And when you pull the community together, like I love where I live right now. I walk into the coffee shop, and because I've built relationships even on Facebook, I know people I don't even know. I'm like, hey, person with your dog that I've never met, but we talk every morning. Like, get excited about what you do, because it comes off in all your communication.
That's a big misconception though, Ira, that everybody has, and I've been guilty of it too, where I buy a piece of tech and I'm hoping that the tech itself is going to be the solution to my problems, right? Like, I bought a gimbal and I look at it, I used it one time and I'm like, why do my videos suck, right? It's because I don't use it often enough to get used to that process, and I don't treat it the same way. So that's a very good point. I don't think we've ever really talked about that the way you brought it up, Ira. So that's important for us to connect with the technology that we use, and just remembering that everything revolves around relationships. Right?
And personify it. Like, don't let it feel unnatural. Like, if you look at the way Wendy even uses her SMS, like, hi Patty, this is Julie, I work with Wendy, I see you're interested in your home value with the little home emoji, ... That's awesome. Like, as soon as you put that's awesome in there, that's no longer a robot, okay, in my mind. robots don't say that's awesome. Is there anything specific about your home that may affect its value? Instead of saying IE updates, like most people leave, you go in there and say new flooring, updates, landscaping, right? And then right away you see this answer, 4 years old, raised planters and garden, huge patio with fireplace and awnings that are adjustable. I mean, if you're getting feedback like that, there you go. All you're looking for is dialogue. And then you can create dialogue and take that into a relationship if you know how to role play a little bit.
Right.
And that in itself, we teach people. So, don't just let AIs go out without personifying it and making it feel more natural.
Well, Marcus, you guys didn't even hit on the buy side of this whole thing, right? I mean, I have had so much success just on the buyer side. What we are doing is the same thing, but we just pick up the phone and start talking. Not about, again, real estate. We talk about, hey, how are you? How are you doing? Or, just make it personalized, humanized, the conversation. We keep going back to what we started saying earlier in this webinar, is that how are you humanizing your conversation, and how are you making it a relationship between you and this particular person, not lead, person.
100%. I mean, and remember too, if you're using the typical buyer's call to action, be like, get your free weekly list of homes for sale in Malibu with a pool under $1 million. I'm like, if that's available. And that's not what you want to lead with. I mean, sure, that's what everybody has, but the whole point is you do something like that to overwhelm them with a list of properties, but your automation is really shooting out into what are they looking for. Hey, I want to actually get more detail. Tell me specifically amenities you're looking for. Are you looking for certain school districts and certain neighborhoods that come to mind? What would let's refine the search to something that's personal to you. Exactly. That's what you're looking to do, is you create something that's all about them, not about anybody can give a list away.
A lot of times people, especially, I don't want to categorize this, but I want to, top producers, for example, I'm on this, I'm on that, I won this award, I won that award. So it's not about you. Even when you go on a listing, it's not about you. It's about what you can do for them. How are you going to get to the bottom number that they're looking for? Or how are you going to get that home that they want with 9 out of 10 needs and wants, the needs and wants list? What are you doing to get that 10th item that they're really looking for? Or is it too much out of their price point or whatever it is, right?
That's so true. And that's why I love the top of funnel, because it levels a playing field for everybody. It's like, it's not about your, experience or expertise or how many awards you win, or you're a tier 4 club wealth coach, that's great. That'll come up hopefully in the future, right, but not until you make it about them. And so for anybody that is thinking about like, where do I put my marketing advertising dollars? It's the top of funnel, especially as a newer agent, because that is something that you can create an amazing database of influence that'll only just translate into more ROI the more you invest in the relationships. The problem with most people is that they want this quick fix to their business, and they don't understand that this type of lead generation and nurturing is a 6 month to a year minimum, if not longer, to truly say its maximum potential. And we don't even like to give away our 90 days partnerships, because we know it's like, well, depends on that person if they're good at naturally having conversations with people. If you're going to base your entire experience of Streettext on the next 3 months, you better be invested in every single workshop we offer, and learning bomb and learning the right integrations and creating relationships and going on appointments. And, for anybody that's truly had the most success with Streettext, it's been a year down the line and they're just raving because they stuck with it, invested in the relationship, checked in with people, and started seeing that naturally sellers became buyers and referrals came out of it. And before you know it, double-digit transactions were happening as a direct result.
And I think the difference is you either have one of two mindsets. You either have a transactional mindset, which means that every lead that comes in is a potential transaction, and you give them your transaction end of the bargain, and if they don't reciprocate, we're done. Okay? Or you have a multiplication mindset. Facebook is all about the one-to-many model. You could take the same thing you've been doing that's working and multiply it, as opposed to doing it on a one-to-one transactional basis. You build a funnel that multiplies over time, and you don't see the transactional effort at the beginning. You don't see the things come through, but the longer you stick with it, the more your business multiplies over time, as opposed to adding and subtracting.
A couple of questions, guys. Ira, great comment. I love that. Amy, first of all, Amy Vine says she just signed up for the trial, so she's looking forward to using it. Great job, Amy. Love it. Steve says, how does Wendy connect the Redfin, et cetera, estimate page into her video message?
Well, you just use screen recording. So you'd be using BombBomb and you pull up Redfin, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, and just, have all those values open. And then you move from tab to tab to tab and just, communicate how the internet's
And
wide.
there is a little tutorial that they show you how to do that as well.
Perfect. And then any Alex, do you have any recommendations besides BombBomb? Anything else we can use?
BombBomb or Dub. Dub's another platform that you could use as well. And Tristan, on this next question, if you don't mind, I'll grab this one for a second because I did it, but I want to specify with Marcus on this. So the next question was, can Streettext integrate with CRMs, in particular Command? I don't use Command, but my CRM, I was able to use a Zap that Streettext is already integrated with to get them in. However, I think it's really critical, and this is why I want you to kind of hit on, Marcus. Well, one, if they could with Command, because I don't know what Command's powers are there, but also how critical it is that you already have things set up in the back end of Streettext. So I bring the lead in because I want to be able to manage it through the CRM for the long term, instead of having to duplicate the effort and type it in. But I don't have my CRM take over the actions because Streettext already has that. So maybe you want to elaborate on what's already built into Streettext so people realize they don't necessarily need that.
100%. So if I go into our dashboard and I go into the settings, we have this all automations button, and you have automation specifically to the ads you're running, right? And typically, if you look at the sellers one, there's all these automations that are editable. So if you look at the way Wendy's got her set up, the first email, that's a notification to her that she's got a lead. That's the automatic email that goes out that she's personified with video and a call to action to her Facebook. She does her personal follow-up, but then she has her day 4 that goes out. She's got a day 6, day 9, where she's welcoming people to HomeBot, and HomeBot is an integration she uses. HomeBot is phenomenal, and we'll talk about that shortly, but it's only phenomenal when you tell people how to use it. It's like, great, you can give people a HomeBot report, but show them how to use it. That's even more value, and show them how to tune their market value. Now you've got yourself a great opportunity to connect. So there you go there. And then she's got a day 12 that says, are we Facebook friends yet? Again, going for the relationship. This is all in the first 10 days. Plus you've already seen what she did to personally connect with that person, right? And so we have a full 9-month-long drip email campaign built in, plus text messages that are going out as well. All of which stop automatically when they respond to the text, and then you continue the conversation. Streettext can almost, I have several people that use Streettext as a CRM. It can be, it's not what we're known for, but it can be used that way. I mean, you can do everything. You can stop automations, take notes, you can view that lead to see more about them, where that was pulled open, if that email has been verified, where that home, sometimes it'll pull in their social media. I mean, there's so much to do. And yeah, we're kind of moving more towards making a CRM, but at the end of the day, whether it's buyers, sellers, listings, you name it, we have even custom ads. We have people running their own custom ads now and crushing it, rent to own options or whatever they want to create in that marketplace. And then we just test it and we create automations behind it that you can do. There's templated ones, and there's opportunities to create your own emails, and you could put emails in there every day if you wanted and have them go out automatically. You could put text messages. It's all up to how you use it. So yes, there's some time to be spent. And Alex, to what you said, is like, in our trial, we can only show you that we can generate a bunch of leads. But what we invite you into understanding is that we can help you create a phenomenal, hands-on, customized solution that you'll be proud of. But you're not going to figure that out in 7 days. You know what I mean? And so when you're investing into Streettext, you're actually investing into the community.
I'm still trying to figure it out, by the way.
And you always will. And you always will.
And speaking and giving total kudos for the community and the culture that you've created, that Streettext Insider group on Facebook, the private group that you invite people to after they've already set up their Streettext account. You know, you're bringing up Wendy on here. I heard Jennifer. I don't know if you're talking about Jennifer Salter, Ira, but you know, these people share everything. You know, Wendy's in my market, right? So she uses Streettext, and meanwhile, I can go onto the Streettext Insider and type in her name, and it shows her BombBomb videos. I can click right into her BombBomb email delivery, right where Marcus just was, not the back end of her Streettext, but her BombBomb email delivery, and she shares it. You know, because maybe we get the same lead, but maybe we don't. And if we're not getting the same leads and we're hitting different target audiences, then so be it. Let's all be successful together. So there's a ton of sharing in there.
Looks likely you're not. You're not. I mean, and that's the thing. The Facebook Marketplace, there's no exclusivity there. So it's not going to somebody else. It's not like Zillow where, you know, if you don't get it to it in 3 minutes, it's not your lead. Once it's captured, it's yours. And it's all about how you create a relationship with that person. And there's plenty of fish in the sea. Like even in Kelowna, where our office is based out of, we have, you know, a dozen plus agents all using Streettext and all doing phenomenally well and that's a market less than 100,000. And you're talking about Las Vegas, right? I mean, and Henderson and surrounding areas, millions of people, millions of opportunities, but only some of you will take that opportunity and create a relationship of value behind it. Everybody can generate leads, but can you take that lead into an opportunity that's all about them and connecting and serving them and being a go-giver and contributing to their life? And, you know, hey, there's so many great ideas from, hey, here's my preferred lender list. You know, if you have a contractor you ever need, a landscaper, you know, a painter, I just want to give that back to you. These are the people that I trust, right? We always think about, there's so many added values we can give to somebody, even automatically in automations. We just kind of put ourselves in this little template and bubble.
Coming from
Hey guys, I wonder, because we've got about 5 or so minutes left, but I got an idea as you guys were talking with a conversation with Alex bringing up the Streettext Insider and Marcus having the response. What if we did something either weekly or every 2 weeks into LabCoats, and you guys, Marcus, Ira, everybody else, you know, Logan, Troy, Steven, whoever, comes in and just you guys just talking about really the lead conversion ideas on just process systems, what tech you're using, how to respond, similar to what you do with Streettext Insider Masterminds, but this would run into LabCoats and be like an LCA Insider type thing. Because I think a lot of people, you guys do amazing in Streettext, first of all, amazing. If you haven't tried it out, go check it out. It's free for 7 days. The link's in there. Tessa will put it up again. But one thing that isn't always clear to most people is just the processes that you have in place. And if people would just follow those, they would succeed at an extremely high level. And it's not necessarily just for online leads. It's for every type of lead. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where our community could really learn from you guys. So if you're up to it, dude, we could run it like maybe every other week.
Love it.
Open to everybody. You guys can do it. You can tell me, hey, who's running it? And it's all you.
I love that. And remember, it's not about so the lead conversion side is what we're talking about today, but what we teach on advertising and generating leads and just specifically the concept of the split test applies outside of Streettext too, to everybody running ads on Facebook and Instagram is acknowledging that every time you run an ad, the true split test is the audience you're running into. So everybody thinks you got to change it up by doing an A/B test with different pictures and, you know, text and so forth. But actually the true success is to duplicate as many ad sets as possible and let them compete for 12 to 24 hours to show you that actually it's the audience itself that's going to be the variable there.
All right. So I'm leaning more towards like a lead conversion type setting where you guys are always giving out your tips, processes, systems. What do you guys think overall? Alex?
I love it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we often don't have a lead generation problem, right? There are better quality leads. There are better sources for leads with split testing, things like that. There's great, but we have a lead conversion problem because people like that instant gratification. And I always say to my agents, to any agents that I'm coaching, Houses are not like a pack of gum in the checkout line at the grocery store. People don't go, ooh, I want this pack of gum. People don't go, ooh, I want a house today, right? Yeah. So it's a lead conversion problem because it's an ongoing process. I do have one question for you, Marcus, in regards to what you were just saying. So I haven't done this yet, but I ran the 3 of the exact same ad. I honed in based on the audience and the ones that were getting the best. And I know that now Facebook will do the lookalikes and it will kind of go into that audience. I used to be on a board for a major insurance company, and I was specifically one of the 16 people that made decisions on an advertising budget of $180 million a year. You might know it by the bump theme, but I was on that board, and one of the things that they did was they played a game in the advertising world called Beat the Control, right? So effectively, you take those 3 ads, the one performs the best. That becomes your control. Do you ever suggest that you then go and split test against that ad again with time. 2 new ads? Okay, so it is, so now you've got your leader, right, or your control. You throw up 2 more ads just for a day, just enough to get
3, 4, 5, 10. Don't say it's not the split test is entirely up to you. If you ran 10 ads at $10, I'm not expecting you to run that for $100 for 24 hours. I'm expecting you to run it enough so that if you clearly see leads coming in from a source ad ID that is taken off within the first $2 or $3 of that ad spend, pause all the other ones, pause all the other ad sets.
He even did that for us, exactly the same thing he did for us, and he split tested it on that because we had a listing, and that was a pretty luxury listing, and that's how we showcased that in the custom ads class, and that's how he ran it, and he split tested, and that worked like a charm.
So just to say, Tristan, I know it's not about lead generation, but sometimes it is too.
Well, you guys can always talk about the lead gen part. Nobody will miss that, right? So.
Yeah, no, it's a full solution, top to bottom. And again, at the end of the day, it's like you just got to create an opportunity to connect with somebody and be relational, and without you showing up at their home, which might not be very, best practice right now. You need video, and so.
Exactly what Tristan just said is we're not into the lead generation as much. Relationship is what we're into, like I said earlier, but also lead conversion. How do you convert these leads? Like I said, you just don't say, hey, 123 Main Street, that's what you're calling for. Those days are kind of sort of gone for now, right? You have to humanize that conversation, and you have to take it to the next step.
I tell everybody, you don't convert, you converse.
Converse, yeah.
I've also heard somebody say it's not about closing, it's about opening. You're opening people up to relationship and conversation. And we have this kind of close in our head. And when you try to close people, they feel it and it feels yuck, and you repel them. Or when you try to open people up to conversation, you continue to open the relationship, and then you'll have more contact points. So sometimes we close off, like we think the first transaction is the one where we need to convert it and close, and our conversation closes the conversation instead of opening the conversation to the second conversation, to the third. And we talk about that with your first email that goes out. If your first email is your first impression, it'll show you in the subsequent emails if you made a good first impression, because you'll see the opens decline afterwards and then you can split test. What if I change the video? What if I change the wording? What if the next email gets more opens because of the fact that I changed that intro one?
Yeah, and remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So we had a mastermind the other week where a gal was, Shane went in and analyzed her bomb, and she was in her room in a dark light. And, part of it is you got to acknowledge that lighting and body language and tonality and the energy you're putting out there and where you're shooting it, and not sometimes just pulling out your phone and stepping in front of somebody's home and, or being with your kids or with my dog Zuma here. That's more relatable. Don't be in a box. Everywhere you go is in a box. And so sometimes you got to change things up and just be, we'll help you with that. We'll help.
I want a t-shirt that says "Don't be in a box."
I think that. A t-shirt comes out of every single one of these webinars.
In a box.
I know. I don't remember what Tristan's last one was. It was something about like 6-pack coming or something like that. It was weird.
1 pack.
Well, yeah.
I'll be your guru on that one, Tristan, when you're ready. When
I
the
know
student-
you totally will.
How about this one? When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah. You're always there, man.
Wow.
Every time I think of working out, I'm like, honey, Marcus is like so in shape. It's like, just ask him what to do. I mean, I already did. So
Ask Chris Willard, my brother.
yeah, sad. All right. Let's think of a title for this new thing that we're gonna do on top of these, because I'm excited. Our audiences, the real estate world, really needs this. Kind of like a show, like the conversion show, something along those lines. We'll figure it out.
The
guys.
conversion lab.
The conversion lab.
The conversion conversation.
Ooh, I like that.
Humanizing the conversation.
I like all right, we'll talk offline. Everybody, thank you for joining us. For those of you on the webinar side and on the Facebook side of this, we really appreciate you. Take a look at Streettext, streettext.com, 7-day free trial. And Alex, Jonky, Ira, Marcus, thank you so much. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.